Let's talk 10 minutes about mouse and keyboard and controller for Halo Infinite. Let's put 10 minutes on the clock. Here we go. All right. It's a new debate, right? Every time you buy a new video game that's cross-platform, you have to ask yourself, am I going to play a mouse and keyboard or am I going to play a controller? Now, granted, a lot of you are traditionalists when it comes to what you prefer to play on. If you've been playing mouse and keyboard forever, you're just going to continue on playing mouse and keyboard. And if you're a controller player, well, you are a controller gang for life. But now we're talking about a whole new thing when it comes to Halo Infinite, and a lot of people have been asking me as well. I'm streaming as well. I've been debating myself when it comes to this age-old question: should you be playing with mouse and keyboard or controller? Now, recently the Halo Championship Series has been vibing right now on Twitch, and currently about 2 weeks in a row, 40 to 50,000 viewers to watch the grand finals between Optic and Cloud9, where Optic has able to, the Green Wall has able to get the championship 2 weeks in a row for the Halo Championship Series Open. Really great stuff, really great start for Halo Competitive. With that being said, Halo Competitive, all the players are using controller. You know, is usually what the pros are doing, right? That's what I usually default to if I want to get better in a video game. I usually ask myself, what are the pros doing? What are the pros peripherals? Don't ask me. I'm a content creator. I'm not a professional. I'm here to give you my opinion when it comes to the matter. So yes, the pros use controller. Halo traditionally is a controller-based game. I mean, it is birthed out of the Xbox era. It is a console game that slowly migrated itself to PC, especially with the Halo Master Chief Collection. Now, in that Master Chief Collection, it is notorious that keyboard and mouse is just so underpowered when it comes to controller.
The aim assist,
which is the most, I guess, hot topic word or hot button word of 2021 and 2022. It doesn't matter. It is our hot button for the long run. Aim assist is so strong when it comes to Halo Master Chief Collection that there's no point of playing mouse and keyboard, no matter how great mouse and keyboard feels. And so when you get over to the Halo Infinite, the questions are like, what's this going to be like cross-platform? Now, this game has been out for a couple weeks now. I've been grinding it. I've been playing all different types of mode, and I've been playing especially ranked. And the great thing about Halo Infinite, for those of you who don't know, is you have the ability to say, I don't want to play with mouse and keyboard. I don't want to play with controller. I want to compete against same input lobbies. And the great thing about it is that 343 Industries gives you a rank in that set playlist. So it's fantastic to be able to have a set rank in different player pools. And just to let you guys know, I am platinum in most of them in the cross open platform, where that is more of mouse and keyboard and controller playing together, and then as well as controller only solo duos lobbies, and then as well as mouse and keyboard solo duos lobbies. So I have put a lot of time. I'm getting really close to diamond in almost all three of those set playlists or player pools. And here is my opinion between the two inputs, because it totally changes the way the game is played. On controller, you do have a lot of strong aim assist. There are some great settings out there that you kind of free up, and at the same time, when you're playing controller in these first-person shooters, you just feel very sluggish. So know that going in there, you're gonna have to mess with the settings and make sure they're a little bit more fluid. But there is certain angles, just like when you play Fortnite, there's certain angles a controller player cannot cover quickly enough because you sacrifice a lot when it comes to controller. If you want to be mobile, you want to be able to move around your first-person reticle, whatever you want to call it, you want to be very flexible, you're going to sacrifice a lot of your aim. It's just the way it is. So typically you're going to have pretty much a mediocre or a medium sense, and then you're going to have a look sense that's a little bit higher, so be able to move a little bit, but no, you're still going to feel very sluggish. Now, I know Battle Royale is not going to be on the onset for Halo, but if Halo Infinite does get a Battle Royale, it is very cumbersome to pick up a weapon that is in a weapon pile. The controller, you can have to navigate that. I'm not quite sure if they're going to have a kind of modernized version of that. I wish that there's a better way to pick up weapons in Halo Infinite, but that's for another discussion. So you're going to feel sluggish, but your aim is going to be really, really solid. When you play on a controller, your accuracy goes up about 10%. When I was playing on keyboards, I was around about 47% accuracy. When I played on a controller, about 56 to 59 accuracy when it comes to competitive play. Now, in terms of the gameplay itself on controller, I feel, even though there's a whole thing about Halo Infinite with the nade spam and everything like that, I feel it comes down to much more who sees who first. Now, I know Halo as well is a positional first-person shooter. It's more about working with your team to navigate, to find the angles and not to overextend, not to over-rotate, not to over-push. All those things are a huge factor when it comes to Halo 2 surviving and to have those high KDs. However, on controller, sometimes it feels like who sees who first. The time to kill, yes, I know it's higher than most first-person shooters, so it's not as blinking you're dead type vibe when it comes to Call of Duty games or even Fortnite. A lot of people don't understand Fortnite has a very fast time to kill. Building slows that down, of course, but in the blink of an eye, you get deleted. So when it comes to Halo Infinite on controller, it really does feel like you get deleted a lot faster. So you really have to be mindful of the positional game where you're at. Be mindful where your teammates are. You're gonna be mindful, of course, of the enemies, because if you over rotate, if you step out, if you get double sprayed, and no matter what input, if you get double sprayed, triple sprayed, you're dead. You're deleted. You're instantly sent back into the respawn. So the whole thing about that's what I feel like when it comes to controller, because everyone's aim is so good, it becomes a who sees who's first. It's not as intense as a Call of Duty, but the chances of you reversing are going to be coming to your strafing. Right? When you're in a open lobby, you're gonna notice this is what a controller player does. It's this strafing. It's a little bit hard to hit on mouse and keyboard. So when it comes to the lobbies across platform, usually the controllers have the advantage because of this. The wiggles, as I used to call back in the Last of Us days. So because of the wiggles, you're gonna have these lots of fights where you run into each other on controller versus controller. It's all a matter about strafing and your positioning, and then maybe a little crouch spam. You can do whatever you can, but in my belief, it becomes a who sees who first. On the flip side, I spend a lot of time on mouse and keyboards. In fact, that is my first input choice when it comes to the mouse and keyboard. Now, this input, you feel very fluid. You feel very great. You feel very flexible. You could react. You could skip grenades. You could throw grenades faster. You could switch weapons on the fly. You could do a lot of more things. You're more mobile as well. There's just some great plays that you can make because you have the ability, of course, when you snoop into the when you scope into the sniping, you have a little bit more control because, of course, you have your whole arm, your sensitivity, all this yada, yada, yada. But it changes the way you play. At the level I am, the accuracy, of course, is about 47 for the average player or so, in the 40s or so. It doesn't become a who sees who first. It literally does become a skill bat. Now, I use the word skill. It literally does become who hits your shots more, how accurate you are. I'm not saying that controller is not skillful when it comes to those 50-50 engagement. Like I said, there's the skill, the crouch, the wiggles. All that becomes a play, and at the same time, getting that first shot and not missing is crucial when it comes to the 50-50. Mouse and keyboard, you have a little bit more of flexibility in that sense that people will miss more. And at the same time, you have that chance to be able to reverse things a little bit more on mouse and keyboard. Someone will surprise you and go, oh my goodness, and then you could turn on them and you have a little bit more of a skillful battle when it comes to accuracy and shooting. That is what I think is the main difference between the two, is those moment-to-moment actions. Controller, it's who sees who first. Mouse and keys, it's about who has the ability to overturn or overcome adversity just in case someone surprises you. Mouse and keyboard, you don't have to really be focused on positional. Of course, when you get higher in the lobbies, it all becomes a team thing where you can focus on positional things and angles and things of that sort. But if you're a solo queue or duo queuer like myself, you end up just like, you could be a little bit more lax because you rely on your gun skill or your accuracy to bail you out of situations. But when it comes to a controller, you can't do that. You have to be very mindful of what you're doing. So now you come to the age-old question, what should I play on? Mouse and keyboard and controller. I really do feel like at the same time, controller is a little bit more chill experience. Yes, you have to be more mindful about it. Like I just said, you have to be more mindful about your positioning and things of that sort. But it's a more laid back experience because it's on controller. You really don't have to worry about zeroing in and making sure you're hitting your shots 100% or 80 to 90% in these engagements. But when you get into that mouse and keyboard, when you get into that engagement, when you're shooting down range or at a person, then it becomes like, I need to hit all my shots. And that's a different kind of stress. That's a little bit different than most when it comes to Halo. When you play Halo, you just want to chill, get clips, big team battle, have a good vibe. Now, the whole other debate, we're going to go a little bit time extended here. And the whole other debate when it comes to mouse and keyboard is when they get into the same lobby. Now, I would have to applaud. Halo Infinite does have a better vibe or feel to it when you're playing mouse and keyboard against those controller players. It's not as, open-ended, is not as 50-50. You could actually get the job done when you're going up against a controller player if you hit your shots. Vice versa though, if you're going up against a mouse and keyboard player, you'll notice that they're a little bit stiff. So you could easily melt them at the same time. When it comes to precision weapons and things of that sort, like sniping, it's easier on mouse and keyboard. So those are the kind of differences between the two of inputs. More chill experience on controller when it comes to the matter of actually engaging an opponent. However, more intense gameplay, the higher you get into rank, it becomes a who sees who first type vibe. And then on keyboard, you have to really zero in and get those shots down range when you come into that battle. So that is the difference between the two, mouse and keyboard and controller when I played. Let me know in the comments down below what you think about the two inputs. And this has been the 10-Minute Checkpoint podcast featuring me, SanchoWest, where I talk about movies, video games, music, anything underneath the sun, all within 10 minutes or so. If you like what you see, make sure to subscribe. Follow us on all those podcast services. And hey, good luck out there if you're grinding Halo Infinite multiplayer. Peace.